All right, so hey everyone, welcome back. It is time to continue our deep dive into all this financial data we've got from 2025. And wow, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, a lot going on.
I mean, we're seeing AI really starting to make waves on Wall Street, right? We've got this whole thing with the US potentially rolling out a digital dollar. And then, of course, we can't forget about inflation hitting families pretty hard.
Right. And the thing is, all these trends are kind of intertwined. They're all feeding into each other, impacting how we invest, how we spend, even how we think about the future of money.
Absolutely. So let's break it down piece by piece. Let's start with this whole AI and finance thing. We keep hearing about these robo-advisors, but I got to ask, are they the real deal or are they just a fad?
Oh, they're definitely more than just a fad. I mean, they're already changing the way people invest, especially for folks who maybe don't have a financial advisor or, aren't super comfortable picking stocks themselves.
So how do these robo-advisors actually work? I mean, what's going on behind the scenes?
Well, basically, they're using these sophisticated algorithms. Some are based on behavioral finance, like how people make decisions. Others are focused on factor investing, looking at specific characteristics of companies and markets to find good investments.
Okay, so it's not just throwing darts at a board. There's some serious number crunching going on. But how do I know if a robo-advisor is actually making smart choices?
That's a great question. You really have to look under the hood, so to speak, and understand the methodology behind the algorithm. Some robo-advisors use machine learning so they can adapt to changing market conditions. Others are more rules-based.
Yeah.
They follow a set of predetermined criteria.
So I guess it's not just about handing over your money and hoping for the best. You got to do a little research first.
Exactly. You need to understand what's driving the recommendations, whether it's minimizing losses or maximizing returns, whatever aligns with your own financial goals.
Gotcha. Well, let's shift gears a bit and talk about another big development, this whole digital dollar thing that the U.S. is exploring. This is huge.
Yeah.
What would this even look like in real life?
Well, imagine a US dollar that only exists digitally issued and backed by the Federal Reserve. It could be accessible to anyone with an internet connection, which would be a game changer for a lot of people.
So how is that different from like Venmo or Apple Pay or any of the other digital payment systems we're already using?
That's the key difference. A digital dollar would be legal tender, just like physical cash. It'd be like carrying around digital dollar bills in your phone.
Ah,
It could have some major advantages in terms of security, speed, and even financial inclusion for folks who don't have access to traditional banks.
I see. And what about the impact on monetary policy? Could the Fed, adjust interest rates more quickly or something with a digital dollar?
That's definitely a possibility. It gives the Fed a whole new set of tools to manage the economy, but, there are also concerns about privacy and security that need to be addressed.
Okay, so a lot to consider there. And speaking of digital currencies, we got to talk about crypto, right?
Ugh.
Would a digital dollar compete with crypto or could they coexist?
That's a good question, and, experts are divided on this. Some think a digital dollar could actually boost the legitimacy of crypto, you know, by creating a sort of regulatory framework. Others think it could stifle innovation in the crypto space.
Right. And then there's the question of how all of this impacts small businesses. I mean,
Hmm.
they're already dealing with so much. Are they ready for a digital dollar?
Some businesses are actually ahead of the curve. They're already accepting crypto payments or exploring blockchain technology to streamline their operations.
So they're seeing the potential benefits there, but I imagine there are also challenges.
Definitely. I mean, security is a big one, and making sure their systems can handle digital transactions. Then there's the education piece, making sure both businesses and consumers understand how to use these new technologies safely and effectively.
Right. A lot to figure out there. And, speaking of challenges, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, inflation. It's hitting families hard. We're seeing reports of grocery bills going through the roof. Is this a
Ugh.
temporary blip or are we in for a long haul?
Unfortunately, it's a bit of a mixed bag right now. There are a lot of factors contributing to inflation, supply chain disruptions, increased demand, government spending. It's a complicated picture.
So some experts think it'll ease up soon. Others think it's here to stay.
Exactly. And that makes it tough for people to plan, especially for families who are already struggling to make ends meet.
And that's what I really want to focus on. What are people doing to cope with these rising prices? I mean,
Yeah.
how are they adapting?
It's amazing to see the resilience and creativity out there. People are finding ways to stretch their budgets. They're shopping at discount stores or farmers markets. They're cutting back on non-essentials. They're even bartering for goods and services.
Wow. So really getting back to basics.
In some ways, yeah, but there's also a lot of innovation happening. People are finding new ways to earn income. They're starting side hustles. They're freelancing. They're even investing in things like crypto to try to stay ahead of inflation.
So it's about being resourceful and kind of thinking outside the box.
Exactly. And, experts are also offering some advice. They're saying, diversify your income streams if possible, explore alternative shopping options, negotiate with service providers, be proactive.
So it sounds like the key takeaway here is adaptability, right? Whether we're talking about AI, digital currencies, or inflation, the world is changing fast, and we got to be ready to change with it.
I completely agree. We need to be informed, we need to be willing to learn new skills, and we need to be open to new ways of doing things.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the future of finance, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is that all of these trends are connected. The rise of AI is changing how we invest, digital currencies are changing how we transact, and inflation is affecting the value of our money. It's a dynamic landscape that demands adaptability and informed decision-making.
Absolutely. And with all this change happening, it makes you wonder what skills and knowledge will be most valuable in the financial world of tomorrow. Something to ponder as you continue exploring the future of finance.
Definitely a lot to think about.
All right, well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the financial landscape of 2025. It's been quite a journey.
Yeah, it has.
And we'll be back soon to delve into even more fascinating topics. Until then, keep exploring and stay curious.
See you next time.